Hello, hello. I'm Sasha of Sasha Makes Cards, and today I'm here with Whimsy Stamps sharing a really simple card using just one stamp set. Today I'm going to be using the Pumpkin Kitties clear stamp set to make a fun fall themed card. Now, it is November, and I don't know about you, but I am definitely in the holiday spirit. However, I really want to use the stamp set. I got it a little bit ago, and seeing as it is still fall, and I love this time of the year, I love the fall season, I thought it would still be the perfect time to make a fun card using this stamp set. Plus, the kind of card that I made today, you can really use with any stamp set. You can use it for your Christmas stamps, for some simple Christmas card making. You could use it for birthday cards. You can use it for whatever you would like. Now, I went ahead and stamped one of the adorable images from the stamp set. There are three main images in the stamp set, all of which feature some cats and pumpkins, so I decided to stamp just one of them using some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink, which is alcohol marker friendly ink, and I stamped that onto a 100-pound Hammermill cardstock, which is an alcohol marker friendly paper, and then I used some spring assisted scissors to fussy cut the image, and then colored the image using Ohuhu alcohol markers. Now, I love coloring with alcohol markers. It's one of my favorite parts when it comes to making cards and stamping. However, sometimes less is more, and especially if you're in a time crunch, it's just easier to keep it simple. So today I just decided to do a very simple coloring. It really only colored the pumpkin and the stem of the pumpkin. Before I start coloring the pumpkin, I went in with a super light gray alcohol marker. For this, I'm using the Ohuhu marker shade CG020, which is neutral gray 02, and added a very light shadow onto the cat in the areas where it would kind of make sense. I then went on to color the pumpkin using my favorite orange color combination when it comes to coloring with Ohuhu alcohol markers. I use it quite often, but it's a good one, so that's why I always come back to it. But I started working from my darkest color to my lightest color. I started with YR180, then YR3, then Y10, and then lastly YR4. As for the stem, I did use quite a few colors for a small area. However, it's a color combination, again, that I use quite often, and I just wanted to stick with it, so I ended up using four markers. Also, for the stem, I used E310, then E370, then E240, and lastly E220. However, I do want to say, since the stem is such a small area and it already has a little bit of detail stamped right into that area, you can totally get away with two, even just one marker for coloring it in. Now that I'm done coloring the image, I can move on to creating a very simple background. Now, like I said earlier, I'm keeping this card very simple. I'm keeping the coloring very simple. It's very much a card you could just make in a time crunch. So like I said, wanted to keep the background as simple as possible as well. To do this, I used some spiced marmalade distress oxide and created a very simple fade of ink starting from the top of the card, working kind of its way to the middle of the card. I used a blending brush, started with a heavier hand at the top of the card, blending it out to the middle of the card without dipping back in to the ink to create a very simple gradient using only one ink pad. Now, this kind of background in this technique is something I do quite often. I know I've showed it off in videos before, but I do really like it, and it can add a lot to your card with keeping it very simple, something you can do in under 5 minutes. However, if you would like a little something more, you can always add some splatter. I love adding splatter again, also something I do quite a lot. For this one, I decided to add both white and black splatter as I thought it'd go perfectly with the cat image that I put on the card. To splatter the card using the white and black ink and paint, all I did was placed it onto my glass mat work surface, sprayed it with some water that I have in a spray bottle, and then splattered it directly onto the card using a fan brush. Now, to finish up the card, all I had to do was glue the cat image onto the middle of the card using some liquid adhesive glue, and then stamp my sentiment onto the card itself. Now, this stamp set comes with three sentiments, however, I decided to stamp the Pumpkin Spice Everything sentiment using the same Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink that I used earlier. And that is the completed card project. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out the description below for a link to purchase the stamp set if you would like, as well as links to both my social media and the Whimsy Stamp social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.